Always good.
Matthew fucking Golden. Hey, that was pretty cool, man.
I went to school.
That was cool.
What?
With
Being
Murphy
down there when that pick came in,
and how Murphy did it.
My
he
favorite
played
thing
it.
of
could not have done it better. Yep.
My favorite thing of the draft was Clay Matthews.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
So Andy Vanderloop did that at the annual party because all the lieutenants have to give a speech to thank you and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in on behalf of Team Husky, because that's what he calls us. We're all bigger guys. He goes, I got a letter from the President of the United States, Mr. Trump here. Because I just want to say thanks for the opportunity of being your lieutenant. And, you know, in lieu of the draft going on, all the other squads suck, and so do the Bears.
Oh, my God.
It's hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was standing down there when the guy that waited around.
Should we talk about the draft a little bit?
Huh?
Should we talk about the draft a little bit?
We can. I think that those who profited immensely.
And those that prepped to profit did
didn't
not.
get shit.
Did you see what happened to Gallagher's Pizza? He literally, like, the owner or the manager was on Fox 11 this morning saying, yeah, I don't even think that there was any fans in Green Bay. We didn't get an uptick.
Everybody left. The cigar bar down on Broadway, which they had Broadway district shit, he's like, our business actually went down.
Because people went that way.
Well, once they got there, you couldn't really, there was nothing to draw them to move out, right?
No, you got to walk. Like, downtown is so far from it. There's so
I've
much
never been
going
to
on
downtown
there.
Green Bay.
I even heard, like, what's the brewing company?
Badger State?
Badger State. The food trucks in that parking lot got
get
nothing.
anything, yeah.
Because all of the entrances were on the opposite
Yeah.
side of the draft.
So where my cousin's shop is, number one, they shut him down, couldn't have corporate events. So then he was going to park cars. But they had his road blocked off.
Right.
So people didn't think they could go there. You could go there because he was an open operating business. But nobody knew that. And they weren't going there for an operating business. They're going there to park.
And
he
you
parked
wouldn't have
5 cars.
You wouldn't have known that. So I walked by his place a few times.
Yeah.
You would have thought that by the Oneida corner, there's no way I can go down there.
Yeah.
But you actually could. We
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chaos. That whole getting shut down, the attendance thing getting shut down for like a half hour that first day, it was fucking pandemonium. But once it all worked out, I think everybody ended up being pretty happy.
I think the Stadium View fucking made millions of dollars a day.
Right?
Like-
Those crowds were unreal.
Should we
like-
should we talk about this?
Sarah, who took off work to work at Replay, I haven't talked to her, but I'm willing to bet they didn't get shit.
In De Pere?
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Those 3 bars right there probably crushed it.
Yo,
The bar will be significantly less. They did a cover charge all day, every day,
what?
no matter what. 10 or $20 to get in, no matter what. Starting at like 1 or 2 p.m. We went like at 10 a.m. on Saturday because Lauren wanted to go down there just for a little bit. But I think starting at noon, it was a cover charge all day, every day. So like, dude, Stadium View, it didn't look like anybody could breathe in there.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
the bar looked like.
See, I would have been the guy paying the $10.
Well, did they do that so they could breathe?
That's what I would have done.
Nope. That's just we're taking advantage of every opportunity to make money.
Shotgun from Shotgun and Charlie
Yeah.
was on the radio. I don't know where it is, but he said him and his wife went out on Wednesday night to a place they normally go to. Not fast food, not totally upscale, like mid. And
So Fazoli's.
they raised their plate prices by $10 to $15 per entree. And he's like, we laughed.
Do that. Then the stigma never leaves. Oh, something's going on. They're going to be more expensive.
Right.
Yep.
Can't do that, man. Can't get greedy.
So I do feel bad for, I think it was overhyped.
Yeah.
And
They really did. To your point of like the flow of the people, if you were along that line, you were fucking golden.
Yeah.
Well,
We're not gonna-
what about not even that? What about the logistics of everything? What if they had everyone enter on the other side of the stadium and had that all caged off? And then had food trucks lined up this way and vendors lined up. Then you draw your
They kind of
crowd
did that a
to
little.
I wasn't there. I
They
don't
kind of
wanna
did a
do
little
that.
bit.
Yeah.
There was so much blocked off that at first you're like, where can I go and where the fuck can't I go?
yeah.
It took forever to get
Where
in.
were they dropping off? Like Uber and the shuttles and all that had their own drop off area. I'm
Okay.
assuming it was over by the entrances, but
No, those were all shut down. There were no cars on those road. I don't know where those would have gotten dropped off.
because they were supposed to have their own lanes.
My dad, of all people, who is You guys know my dad. But on Friday night, I was over there after work. I'm not going to the draft. Saturday morning, he's like, we're going to the draft. He was supposed to watch the kids for the annual party. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, we're going. And he said it was awesome. They parked at Buffalo Wild Wings. They got in right away, and he walked around, had a great time. I said, what were the beer prices? He goes, well, I think beers were $17 or something like that. And then my stepmom had a gin and tonic, and that was $17. So I didn't think that was
the
outrageous.
Group we kind of found, they're like, we want to go in the Wisconsin dive bar thing.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
And I'm like, they don't serve alcohol in there. Just so you know, I saw this. And they're like, it's over their head, and they're half pissed up. So we wait in this stupid fucking line to get in there.
It was so
and there's people, and they have pull tabs, and they're handing out old Packer shit, right?
Yep.
And they're like, well, I want a beer. And the guy's like, we don't serve that here. And they're like, well, I'll have there's liquor on the back bar. Well, I'll have some whiskey. No, we don't serve any drinks here. We waited in line for this. And it was just, everybody was saying that. It was kind of goofy. And I'm like, this is every bar in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It had a deer hanging on the wall and a fish and pull tabs.
Y'all have seen it before.
Yeah.
and a jukebox.
Yes.
And Bob sitting in his corner bar stool just waiting
I'm
for
like,
someone to
why
play a
are
game
we
of cribbage with
standing
him.
in line for this?
You just need a couple slot machines and you're good
Right.
to go. To your dad's point, I think by Saturday they figured it out because
Yeah.
Saturday was so easy. I didn't see a single line to get in the security points, but it was packed. I mean, so many people were down there.
Mm-hmm.
I think by that day, some logistical things they had figured out, like the flow of people, because it was easy. Got to stand right next to Shefty, but he wouldn't take a picture with me. It was the only guy I wanted a picture with.
Is he the one that had the sweatshirt on under his tux the entire time?
Not
tux, suit?
I didn't know. He had a suit on. I didn't know if he had a sweater, but he was right next to. He was in between Pat McAfee and Rich Eisen. He was in. Dude, they have these big like studio things, and then like there's Schefter in this little like ice shanty like this. It was pretty funny.
Did you hear what's going on with the offensive coordinator's son from
Yeah,
Jacksonville?
I thought it was Atlanta.
Maybe Atlanta. I forget who.
It was the Falcons.
So the offensive coordinator's son and his buddies got a hold of his dad's phone
Okay.
and ended up getting the GM's number from New Orleans Saints and Shedeur Sanders' number.
Prank called him.
So they prank called him through the internet and said, hey, man, like, we really liked your interview and all this kind of stuff. And, like, Shedeur Sanders posted this video because now all of his cameras start rolling when all this stuff goes on. And he's like, yeah, you know, we really like the way you act, you know, the way you handle yourself and all this kind of stuff. But unfortunately, we're going to make another pick right now, and you're going to have to wait it out. We'll maybe get you on the next one. And they hung up the phone. And you can see Shedeur Sanders and his whole family like, what just happened? He's like, I don't know. They said that they were going to pick me and they liked me, but I got to wait for another pick.
They're gonna throw the fucking book at that kid and his dad.
So then it comes out
For
like,
what? Fraud?
well,
I don't
I'm
know.
sure that's
If
probably
they have to
harassment
make
or
something up.
like that. But yeah, so then he's just like, it was really weird. So I'm sure it probably caused an uproar and probably added to like his chaos of what he was dealing with,
Isn't
right?
that just a prank phone call?
Yeah, I don't think that's legal. But then the kids
Hey,
released
is Mike
the
there?
kids released the video of them doing it.
Oh, that was dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. But the likes are more important and the views are what matter to those kids. But
Speaking of views,
If it wasn't so high profile, would it be such a big deal?
no, nothing.
I think what they're going to say is they're going to get them for the access to the information in order to make the call. They're going to get them on something along the lines of you did not have the right to that, like something along those lines, because the NFL can't be made to look. That makes them look pretty shitty.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.